Praise the Lord, praise God in his sanctuary, praise him in the firmament of his yes, praise him. All right, so welcome again to Paws and Calves, and of course, we have been partnering with the Jamaica Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, the JSPCA, for this program. And each week, a vet from the company comes on and shares a wealth of information. I've been learning so much. And then, ironically, in the midst of all of this, I had to end up taking my puppy to the vet, to JSPCA. And so I was not only learning, I've not only been learning through the program, which has been very informative, but also I've been learning through my experiences of taking my puppy to the doctor. So today it's a very special program. The JSPCA has been in operation for over 100 years, and its mission is to promote the compassionate treatment of animals through education, advocacy, veterinary care, and the placing of unwanted animals in loving homes. And today we're focusing on animals that are not necessarily considered pets. Some people do, but I don't know, you can have a cow for a pet. A pet cow is outside. We will be exploring the wonderful world of sheep, goats, and cows. Woo! How sheep go. Whatever. Anyway, wherever you are in Jamaica, you can count on seeing at least one of the. You say, I have so many goats in my area. And yesterday I saw one running away. It was a group of them. It's a group of goats. A couple of them running away from some dogs. And one of them got stuck in the gate. And the dogs, we had to run and get somebody. That is not our goat, it's not our gate. Our neighbor's gates. My. But that was a little scary. Today we have Dr. Raquel Hilton, who graduated from the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus in Trinidad and Tobago. And Dr. Hilton's journey started with the JSPCA as a veterinary assistant in 2011. She then ventured onto veterinary school in 2014 and returned to work at the JSPCA in February 2021. We'll be asking Dr. Hilton some general questions about goats, cows, goats, sheep, and we're inviting you to ask your questions also on YouTube, Facebook, or on the WhatsApp number 9973125. So we have to move quickly. Dr. Hilton, good morning to you. How are you?
Pleasant good morning. I'm fine, thank you.
Yes, pleasant morning too. All right, so I'm so happy to have you on. I always look forward to this program because we end up learning so much. So first we're going to talk about cows. People have cows, not necessarily as pets, but they go in they have them and they do all, breed cows, right? So what breeds of cows, bulls are best to be reared in Jamaica? And does the breed determine how it should be cared for?
Definitely. So Jamaica, we have multiple breeds of cows and different purposes that they serve. Mm-hmm. So in terms of our dairy production, we have the Jamaica Oak, which was a crossbred that the late P.P. Lecky developed definitely for our climate care.
Okay.
We have the Holstein breed and the Jersey, and those are dairy cows. Uh-huh. And for beef production, we normally famously have the Brahman for that purpose.
Okay. So you have different types. All right. And does the breed determine how it should be taken care of, or a cow is a cow is a cow?
Well, definitely in terms of our climate, because in every animal they have different temperaments. So I guess in terms of back then when we were developing in terms of getting the animals into the country, then we have to determine if they have what we put it as longevity in terms of how long they can able, in terms of temperature tolerance, in terms of the heat. So each animal, they are bred for certain purposes as well as how well they will adapt to our environment and temperature.
Right. Okay. Is it better to rear them in open areas, for example, like in a field or in a closed area?
All right. So it is yes and no, because in terms, remember the cows, they are wild animals.
Cows are wild animals?
They are wild animals. All animals, remember, they are out in the world, and we take them in to domesticate them for certain purposes. So, for instance, in case of a farmer who's doing farming in the herb industry, then they will have an open area where they can freely graze on grass. And then at night, where they can take them into either into the paddocks at night, or they leave them out in the pasture. So we call it a wide area of grass pasture.
Okay.
So that's where they will graze and graze for the entire day. But in terms of it for the milking herd, they will have a system where they will do their milking, preferably like either once a day or twice a day. Then they would have carried them into the paddock area or the milking area for that to be done.
Okay, for that purpose. All right. What are the best things for cows to eat?
Grass. You can still provide them with a little grains, we call it pellets, which are manufactured by the factory. So especially if we have our lactating cows, to provide some additional energy.
Okay. All right, but grass. But you can do the pellets for a little more energy.
You can mix it with the grass.
Okay. Oh, okay.
But more of a grass, because cows are termed as ruminants.
Google.
So their preferential diet is supposed to be grass.
Okay. All right. What is the best? Oh, I asked that already. How do we take care of both the cows and the bulls different from the calves?
All right. So
I have to run now because we have the other two coming up, right?
All right. So the cows and the bulls, normally, generally, the bulls are normally separated from the cows, because temperament for some bulls are very rambunctious and fighting, so those are normally separated. For the calves, they're normally spent at least 7 to 14 days with the mother, and then about around at 2 months, then you can separate them to be in a calving area where they are fed separately from the mother.
All right. So what about the diseases? What diseases do we need to look out for when it comes to cows?
All right. So in terms of our cows, common disease that we normally look out for is in terms of foot issues, where the hoof, they probably have injury, notice for some sort of lameness as well, because that's very common. Also, what we also want to look for in terms of diseases, sometimes you can have diarrhea, which can stem from some sort of parasite. Another thing that is very common that we look for in cows is something that we call bloat, where you have an increased production of gas. So that's where sometimes farmers make the mistake of increasing the diet with concentrate and providing less grass, which results in a lot of fermentation within the stomach. And poor nutrition is also something that we have to look at.
Pick up on line. Yes, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so in other words, we have to always be aware. I mean, over the weeks we've been talking about the various animals, and it's something that you have to look after that animal just as you spend the time. And of course, you're going to spend more time with a child, a baby. You have to also be aware of what's happening with your animals. All right, so let's go to goats. What breeds of goats are suitable for Jamaica's climate?
All right, so the suitable ones that we have in the country is the Anglo-Nubian, or Samian, and the Boer goat. So those are the common goat breeds that are here in the country.
Okay. And what are the best things for goats to eat?
Grass, because they're still under the term of ruminant.
Okay. Back to grass. And are there anything, just like how you had for the cows, you can add the pellets for them? Is there something
else? Yes, there are formulated pellets for them as well to be eaten.
Right, and that will give them added nutrients.
Yes.
Right. What diseases are prevalent among goats?
Common diseases in terms of our bacterial, we can think about diarrhea, which is common, especially from coccidia, which is a protozoan that commonly affects our goats. We can also look for tetanus, which is very common, especially if they get like a wound and owners are not aware of the wounds, then they realize the animals start to come down with stiffening of the limbs, they are unable to move, the jaws are very locked, so they are unable to drink or eat.
Okay. Somebody was saying, just going back to goats, but I'm sorry, to cows, but I guess it's the same thing for goats. Ophelia is saying some people raise cows to send their children to school.
Definitely.
So, yeah, it's a money-making thing.
Not only money-making, but it also adds to the agriculture sector in terms of providing meat or milk to the country, because sometimes the milking factories, they support the farmers in terms of collection of milk, where they possibly pay them for the milk production, where they sell the milk, and for person who is rearing for the beef, then they're providing into the food chain to feed the general public.
Okay. All right. Beautiful. It goes around and it comes around. All right. What diseases are prevalent among? I'm sorry. Should goats be given supplements and or vaccines?
Definitely. In terms of the goats, what we normally recommend some farmers or our clients that we see here on a daily basis is to provide something that we call a mineral block, which aid the animal in minerals as well as increasing them to take water intake. In terms of vaccination, we do have the tetanus vaccine as well as something that we call, it's still under the composition of a clostridial disease. They have a clostridium vaccine that is given as well.
So the JSPCA, people take their goats to you, or you go to visit them?
And generally, they normally come into us.
Okay. But definitely not the cows.
Well, we have patient calves before. We have had calves here attending to with issues.
Okay, the small, right. All right, okay, beautiful. All right, let's go now to, is inbreeding an encouraged practice for goats?
Generally, no. We don't normally recommend it because of the certain defects that may result in the offspring. We generally don't recommend it. Okay. But it do happen, so I have to put it out there. It do happen.
And explain what is inbreeding.
So inbreeding is first stating you have the mother, and then you have the father, and then when she produces her offspring, you're ending up allowing the brother to mate with the sister, which we generally don't recommend.
The blood of Jesus, what?
Remember, they are animals, and innate for them is
I'll start feeling sick. All right, stop.
So it's not like for humans who can say, hey, that's my sister, I won't go that direction.
Okay, all right, let me go to the next one. Jesus, man. I couldn't be a doctor, feel everything. All right, so let's go to sheep now. Some persons are just joining us. What are the different breeds of sheep in Jamaica? Do we have a lot of sheep here?
Not to my knowledge, they're depending on the parishes, but it's not really common where a lot of persons practice rearing of sheep.
Okay.
The common breeds that we have here, I am aware of, is the Darker and the Barbados Black Belly.
The Barbie Dove?
Barbados Black Belly.
Oh, okay. Because I was like,
over from Barbados.
Oh, okay. What's the right type of environment for sheep to be reared in?
In terms of an enclosed area, with allotted time to be pastured. So a confined area where they can able to graze freely, as well as areas for them to rest.
Very important. All right. And why should sheep be sheared and how often?
So the fur of the sheep, they can become very matted and fluffy and have a lot of moisture so that become very, it can have some sort of bacterial growth going there. So in terms of summertime where it's much hotter, we prefer if you shear down the sheep at least to allow them to able to feel that more easier for them to what they call it, evaporation, easy in terms of fluid loss, in terms of cooling down, because they don't want them to be overeating with that all clouded amount of wool over the body.
Oh, okay. So that would be weight on top of weight.
Yes, it is.
Okay. What are the best things for sheep to eat?
Grass.
My grass just done a while ago.
So the cow, the sheep, and the goat, they are under the terminology that we put as ruminants. The ruminants' main diet is grass, and we supplement them with a little ration if needed.
Okay. Are there any abnormalities or diseases that you look for in sheep?
Definitely. So commonly in our sheep, we normally look out for lameness, in terms of the hoofs, in terms of overgrowth. Wounds are common. Diarrhea in terms if they have some sort of parasite burden. Tetanus is normally commonly observed as well. So those are the common things that we look for.
Right. Okay. And should sheep be given supplements or vaccines? And we have no animals were given vaccines. I remember
they do get their vaccine.
Listen, the first day I brought the puppy there. Has the puppy been vaccinated? I just went silent. I was like, la da dee da dee da dee. But it helps though, right? And safe for sheep.
Definitely do.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, we have a little time, and I see a question, or two questions here. Just like that, grass. Guess I need a goat and sheep. They're easier to take care of. Somebody's making that compared to all of the animals that we were talking about for the past few weeks. They sound like that you just go there and say, see grass there, but the grass, Vicky McGrass just done a while ago with the goat, sheep, and the cow. All right, somebody's asking to touch on pigs. What should persons know about pigs?
All right, so pigs, very docile animals. In terms of care for pigs, normally prefer if you have like a pen that is structured in terms of where you can have your feeding area separated from where they will have their wastes. The pig feed is normally manufactured by the factory, so that is okay. Provide a lot of water. Ensure that they are not overfed. They're supposed to be fed at least twice per day. If you're interested in going into the pig production, I'd recommend that you do your research a lot, because there are different type of breeds of pigs that we have out there in terms of your large white, your landrace, as well as your Duroc. So they have different characteristics. So there are things that you need to ensure that what you're going into the business for is to ensure that whatever product that you're ensuring to get in the end result, that's what you're working towards.
Okay. So pigs are a little harder than the goat and the cow.
Not necessarily harder, you just have to have a love for animals, and once you have the love, then everything
Miss
from the drawing what you're doing.
From the pig don't eat the grass, it's harder. From me say, I forgot to go shop and buy it harder. Oh my goodness. Well, anything else? Who was it that was asking? Sue, anything else you want to ask about the pigs? And what else, Doc, that you could say about the pigs for them, for persons who are listening? Dr. Hilton.
Alright, so with the pigs, normally if you're getting them at a piglet stage, or if you're buying an adult pig to go into production, then necessary nursing care needs to be done in
Nursing
terms
what?
of nursing care.
Okay.
So in case if you're doing like a breeding production,
Right.
where the piglets come into play, then you need to ensure that you have a foreign unit that where the sow will be able to adequately, comfortably pass out the piglets, ensure that you're always present in case there's any sort of difficulty where your help is needed in terms of manipulation in pulling out the piglets.
Okay.
In the first day of life, there are some certain cares that need to be done in terms of teeth clipping, tail notching, iron supplements. For some breeding facility, they do provide identification in terms of how to identify the animals. If it's a case where you're doing ear notching, that's where you do a numbering system in where you clip the ears, or you're doing an ear tagging system. And then normally for the male out of the litter, they're not going into the breeding system again, then they normally castrate them.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm all getting pictures of pig pen and all these things. I tell you. All right. Beautiful. Well, it's so fun to know. Or somebody wants to know. You want to go back to cat? Easy. Want to know about the cat? What kind of medicine or tonic we should give them?
What kind of
Medicine or tonic you can give the cats?
All right. So our cats are very easily to be taken care of. In terms of cats, tonic, not necessarily tonic for cats. Once you're providing their dry pellet food, they should be eating comfortably. We recommend that they be dewormed at least every 3 months.
The money just gone up.
Deworming costs probably about $100 every 3 months.
100 US, a joke. All right. Somebody is asking, can cows eat vegetable and fruits?
Yes, they can, but as I had said before, we're trying to cut down on the carbohydrates because we don't want to cause an overproduction of gas.
Okay. You're cutting down on carbohydrates, so you're not giving them vegetable and fruits?
No, man. The vegetables they can get, so in terms of your grass, we don't normally offer lettuce. I've never seen that before. I've never done it before. Apples can be provided, but not in a vast amount.
Okay. Someone else is asking, at what age should a pig be a mother? So, if your pig is a teenager, tell your pig.
Alright, so normally sexual maturity of the pig normally around 8 months. And then you normally observe for something that we call standing eat. So is where you ensure that the criteria is met for breeding. So normally we normally have a selection where you ensure that you have equal amounts of teeth, where we refer to as the breast.
I'm sorry, equal amount of what?
Of teeth, we refer to as teeth, but in layman terms, it's the breast. That's where the piglet will suckle.
Oh, okay.
She has sturdy legs to stand on, so that is something that you have to ensure. And she must be able to withstand the weight of the bull when you try to
So how do you know all of that?
So that's what I'm saying, that there is a selection period that is done throughout the lifespan of the pig, going up until maturity. That's where you put her into the breeding system.
This Jackie is asking, what should I give the pig to get her heated?
What should I do?
To get the pig in heat. Somebody said the pig has to be in heat before you put her out. So
Definitely.
yes. So is there something that you can give the pig so that they can be in heat or get in? Yeah.
So normally, what we normally do recommend is it's a process. So it's a process that every animal goes through. So the only thing that we normally do is put our young girls, which means the younger females, with the mature sows if we want everybody to cycle in at the same time.
Okay. Boy, I'm learning so much here. So I think Jackie could probably call the JSPCA to get some more information. Suzette says there is an injection as well.
What type of injection?
I don't know. She says there. Well, Suzette, is that a question or is that a statement? Well, Doc, you would know. Is there an injection that a pig can get to get them in heat?
Definitely, there is an injection, but normally that is done within the breeding system. The persons who are doing the breeding are a big production system that they want all the animals to cycle in at the same time.
Okay, I tell you, boy. Well, we're gonna have to wrap. I thank you so much. I'm putting the number on our website, on our YouTube and Facebook link. For those of you who want the number, you can just ask for it or look it up. JSPCA, Jamaica Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Doc, I thank you so much. It's always so much to learn. Dr. Hilton, thank you for sharing with us. And thank you. I don't know if you're one of them that take care of my puppy when I take her up there, but thank you.
And I thank you very much for hosting me. It was a pleasure.
Yes.
Embarking some information to those who are not aware of certain stuff.
And what I just learned now is that it looks like we have more cow and goat and sheep and thing because we've got so many questions about those animals. All right, all the very best.
Thank you, and same to you.
All right, so that's it. The JSPCA, they've been assisting us, and I want to say a special thank you to the team members there coming on board for this, our summer feature, Paws and Pals, during the I Love Summer campaign. It has been an educational journey. We focused on dogs, cats, hamsters, rabbits, turtles, birds, cows, sheep, and goats. Mighty God, and we even got to talk about pig. Of course, you can always hop over to the Love FM's YouTube channel or Facebook page to watch a replay of the episodes. Look for the topic that you want, and then you can watch it again. The JSPCA is located at 10 Winchester Road, and they offer veterinary clinic services, pet adoption program, animal shelter, animal rescue, cruelty investigation, surgeries, volunteer service, spay or neuter services, and community outreach clinics. Big thank you to those who shared with us: Dr. Terina Jones, Dr. Shakira Hemmings, Dr. Stephanie Green, and Dr. Raquel Hilton. The team members there, oh my goodness, all the doctors and everyone, you did a tremendous job. Continue to do what you do. To my producers, Jody and Small, Atiji, thank you both. This has been Paws and Pals. And God willing, next week we'll look at fins. Right? Because I know some of you are asking about fish because you don't have fish. You don't know nothing about Paws and Pals, but you're looking at fish. Thank you so much. This is Love 101, the family station.